and that is that this season feels like it might spiral away from them. And then there's big picture. You have done it again. Because Matt Eberflus, there was no earthly reason to bring him back last year. You're starting over with a new young quarterback, a new young stud, just as you did once upon a time with Mitch Trubisky, and you kept a lame duck coach. And then you did with Justin Fields, and you kept a lame duck coach. And someone sitting on this set, in this seat, sat here and screamed, if you're starting over with Caleb Williams, start with a new coach. Give him a fresh slate. Let them grow and learn and be tied together at the hip. And instead, what's going to happen is that Caleb Williams will go into his second year with a new head coach and a new offensive coordinator, and he will be on that same exact hamster wheel. It is just going around and around in circles. That's the why are you making that face at me? That is clearly the direction it's going.
I don't have the panic button that you guys do.
Did you watch their game yesterday?
What? Yes. Well, the first half I've watched. I don't have the panic button.
I got news for you. It gets much worse.
It gets worse.
I've only watched the first half. I don't have the panic button. This is a team that, again, was a Hail Mary away from winning last week. We said big thing this week was how they're going to respond. I thought this past week, first half drops and all that. Here's the big picture. If they decide to move on from Matt Eberflus, it's not, oh my gosh, the young man's career is over. It's not. I think Ryan Poles, their general manager, has built a very good football team. I'd like to remind everybody, the same thing happened to Jared Goff. His rookie year, Jeff Fisher, they're 8-8. They're an average football team. Jared Goff doesn't play well. Sean McVay comes in. So if they decide to move on from Matt Eberflus, you don't have to go far to find the answer. Okay? You just go north to
Ben Johnson.
I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it because I don't want to
know what doesn't happen, Dan, and that now I'm speaking from 30 years of Chicago sports experience. Sure. That team doesn't pay that coach. That Ben Johnson is going to be the team, is going to be the coach everybody's going to want, right? Jacksonville is going to be what his price tag is going like this. He's going to be the most sought-after assistant in recent NFL memory.
And he should be.
As well, he should be. And the Bears don't pay that guy. That's not what happens.
That's a thing? That's a notorious thing?
Oh, that's a thing.
Well, here's the difference between Jared Goff in 2016 and Caleb Williams in 2024. Nobody was saying that Jared Goff was walking into maybe the best situation that any number one overall pick has ever walked into.
That's a fair point.
I mean, we're talking about the last two games, Caleb Williams having a sub-70 passer rating, which is just awful. Dan, I mean, he's played, one good quarter of football out of the last 8? And so I think that's the problem that we're starting to talk about with Caleb Williams. An offense yesterday for the Chicago Bears that was 3 of 14 against the worst third down defense in the NFL, which was the Arizona Cardinals. 0 for in the red zone and only 3.4 yards per play. That's bad. Even if the offense is struggling, Caleb Williams has got to be better than that.
I completely agree with you on that. I think the thing concerning about Caleb, a little bit last week in Washington, certainly this week, two things. One, I did not like some of the concepts. I thought the concepts had way too many people in the same area. Two, I want to see Caleb have moments where he places the ball perfectly. And right now, I'm not seeing that consistently. Jaden, when the ball leaves Jaden's hand, I know I got a good feeling it's going to go to his guy.
Who's Jaden's offensive coordinator again?
Cliff.
Okay, you said you had an issue with the concepts that they were asking from Caleb with the Chicago Bears and St. Waldron.
Yes.
That was an easy fix for the organization. If you knew you were going to draft him and Cliff Kingsbury was there to be had as your OC, why is he not calling plays for Caleb Williams? I mean, it speaks to why you can't give the Chicago Bears the benefit of the doubt when you're trying to spin this thing forward. And as for the Matt Eberflus of it all, this is not going to be a repeat of what we saw last year where they won 5 of their last 8. They are not going to have that kind of second half because it feels like this defense has let go of the rope.
That stat concerns me. Caleb Williams leads the NFL. That's unbelievable, Hembo. That concerns me because the talent on the outside says it shouldn't be that case. Again, the scheme's not perfect. I don't love the pass scheme at times, but the fact that there's that many off-target or missed throws, that one tells me why is the quarterback not having moments where when he throws it's perfectly placed like we see some of these young.
Okay, and that's what I really want to talk about as well, because I said that in my previous video about his accuracy, right? Because I am in total agreement with Dan Orlovsky. Like, I don't have the panic button. I've been defending and saying we need to give Caleb Williams grace and all of this. But I said the one thing that stands out to me though is his issue with accuracy. that you can't blame just the offensive weapons or the coordinators or whatnot. That really is going to fall on Caleb. And I use CJ Stroud as that example. CJ Stroud has a terrible O-line and all of his wide receivers gone. And yet he's still throwing at like a 75% accuracy. And again, accuracy is not completion percentage. It's on target throws. It's, are you delivering the ball accurately? It doesn't have to necessarily be caught. So that is a problem that you are seeing with Caleb right now. But again, it doesn't have to be this whole disaster scenario right now where it's like, well, that's proof that Caleb is a bust. The biggest counter that I keep seeing when anyone wants to say, hey, let's give Caleb some grace, let's settle down, the biggest counter that I see to that, or the biggest comment that people say is, I thought Caleb was supposed to be generational. I thought Caleb was going to the best situation that, any, first rookie quarterback is going into, and all of this. And now you're moving the goalpost and yada, yada, yada. He was supposed to be better than Patrick Mahomes, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, first off, new information changes expectations, number one. Number two, this whole idea that Caleb Williams was going to be able to walk onto this team and just dominate instantly, no matter how generational he is, was always delusional. Okay? Like, I know it's really easy to hear those types of takes, right? Whether it's like Nick Wright or whoever. I don't know who else really kind of said it on ESPN. But I remember specifically hearing a lot of people like the Orlovskys of the world be like, I believe Caleb Williams is going to be great and this team can be really good, but they're going to struggle to make the playoffs, right? They're going to, I can't think of his name right now. But also on ESPN, he hasn't been on there in a while. I don't know where he's on, but he was on a lot on preseason. And he was just kind of saying like, hey, Caleb Williams is going to be special, but like, we all got to relax here. This is going to be a long season. He's still a rookie quarterback, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it just, people think now that the norm is to have this breakout rookie year, right? Like a CJ Stroud, like honestly what Jaden Daniels is doing. And we just assume that automatically means that you're great. And if you don't have that type of year, it automatically means you're not great. And it's just not true. It's really, really not. Look at CJ Stroud's year versus last year, right? It's been night and day, honestly. And I think CJ Stroud has been doing a really good job in holding his own despite how good, despite his circumstances right now. And so Caleb doesn't necessarily get that level of the benefit of the doubt, quite honestly. But when people were saying that this team is going to be one of the best teams for him to walk into, but how are we defining that? Because did people know that this offensive line was going to be as bad? Did they know that they were going to really struggle to establish the run game? People were really excited about Eberflus's defense and Shane Waldron being the offensive coordinator. Now people are like, Eberflus has to go. Shane Waldron's not good enough offensive coordinator. This O-line is bad. They need a run game. So like, if all of those things ended up being true, then why is it still the best situation for a young rookie quarterback to go into? Because I don't think so. I think this year you would make the argument that it would have been the Minnesota Vikings with Kevin O'Connell and J.J. McCarthy, but J.J. went down. And then you got Jaden Daniels, who maybe doesn't have all these weapons, some of these weapons that Caleb has, but he's got Cliff Kingsbury, and he's got a better O-line. The O-line looks significantly better than it did last year, right? And the defense is holding their own as well. So it's been a combination. This is what I keep trying to emphasize to Chicago Bears fans. It's been a combination, and someone commented this, and I thought it was really funny. He was like, right now the Chicago Bears are kind of like the Spider-Man meme, where like everyone's pointing at everyone else. And honestly, that is the reality. Everyone is to blame. Caleb absolutely, positively needs to play better. Absolutely, undeniably. He also absolutely, positively, undeniably needs to be supported better. Right? You got to give a rookie an O-line. You got to give him a run game. You got to give him easy passes, Shane Waldron. You got to set him up. You got to set him up to get him in rhythm, nice, easy throws early on in the game, right? Like he can't keep running for his life, and he can't keep just pushing the ball down the field and just, fingers crossed, right? Like it's like, what, how is that a game plan? They had Caleb Williams throw double than Kyler Murray. A rookie quarterback should probably almost definitely never throw double the pass attempts of a seasoned veteran. I understand some games it may just call for it. That was not this game. I don't care what the score was. It's not this game. And again, this whole idea, right? Because this is there any hope for the Bears this season? The hope was for this season. Objective number one was always to develop Caleb Williams, to have him grow, learn, get comfortable in the NFL, make his mistakes, right? Learn what works, learn what doesn't, highlight his weaknesses so you can work on those weaknesses, right? That's what the season was always about. The season was not about reaching the Super Bowl like other people tried to put out there. Like, so this whole idea that even has to be the question, is there any hope for this season? It's an unfair question. And if you're going to fire the coach, if you've reached the conclusion that the coaching staff isn't good enough, then what hope was there? What was it actually a realistic hope to have this team be good? The other comment that I saw, which I do think it was thought-provoking, they said if Caleb Williams, if the Chicago Bears had a better quarterback, where would they be right now? And I think it's fair. I do. I think it's a fair point to bring up, but I also think it's unfair to put that on a rookie quarterback, because you have to let a rookie quarterback be a rookie quarterback. You just do. You have to let a rookie be a rookie. Patrick Mahomes didn't start for a reason his rookie year, because he was not ready. There's this delusion, especially in super mega Patrick Mahomes fans, there's this delusion that Patrick Mahomes would have been ready rookie year week one, that he would have just been Patrick Mahomes. If that was the case, he would have started. Do you think Andy Reid had the Patrick Mahomes who was like, I'm just not going to play you just because I'm weird like that? That's not the way it works. Okay? He needed to be developed. He needed to grow and mature. He needed to learn more about the NFL game. That's how his career needed to unfold. When we see all these young quarterbacks get thrown into the fire, majority of them fail. And those who succeed, often there's a really concrete reason why. We can really point. That guy has an amazing, just a brick wall of an offensive line. That quarterback has just elite run game that completely opens up the offense for him. That quarterback has one of the best coordinators or offensive head coaches that we've seen in a while. Like, you can point to concrete things as to why a young quarterback had a lot of success. It's very clear. So if we throw Caleb Williams into this fire right now and just be like, well, you need to overcome all of this. And I took a lot of heat and even changed my opinion because people kind of convinced me. But they were like, Shane Waldron is a really good coordinator, right? And I was like, I don't know. I'm not so convinced that like Geno Smith is now this just like amazing quarterback and he saved him and all of this. And I kind of, I gave some like, I questioned it out loud, and a lot of people were not happy about it. And someone who I trust was like, no, Shane Waldron is legit. And I was like, okay, I'll be more neutral on that. And now this is kind of coming out, and I haven't liked what Shane Waldron has done, quite frankly. I think he's shown some strengths and has done some nice things. But again, multiple things can be true. It could be that Shane Waldron's actually pretty good, but like he needs a more developed quarterback. Or he could be pretty good, but he doesn't know how to work around a bad offensive line or a lack of run game. Like some coordinators, especially when they're young, when they're earlier in their career and they're not like an experienced veteran like Andy Reid, Sean McVay, etc., they don't know how to adapt in that way. They don't know how to work around injuries. Right now, Bobby Slowick has no idea what to do with the Houston Texans with all these injuries. He really struggles to figure out how can we adapt to this, right? Sean McVay, on the other hand, can adapt. Andy Reid can adapt. It's a skill set that takes time to develop. So Shane Waldron could have been a really good coordinator, but was like, dude, I don't really know what to do in this situation. We can't run the ball, and we have a bad O-line, and I got a rookie quarterback. Like, I don't know. I need someone that has more experience. I need a better O-line. I need the run game. If you give me those things, then I can do some really awesome stuff. But I'm kind of limited here. So it's again, all of these things can be true, and it's kind of hard to parse out, honestly, right? We don't have a long enough track record with, say, a Caleb Williams, Shane Waldron, etc. But this whole idea that we just need to keep sounding the alarm, and this is so concerning, and oh my God, Caleb Williams should have immediately been better, and all these expectations, and if he was truly generational, if he was truly destined for greatness, he would not have this level of play. I just wholeheartedly disagree with that, and I don't understand why people are just so dead set on drawing a conclusion as early as they possibly can. It's like people want to be able to say, I told you all Caleb Williams was a bust before he was drafted. I told you by week 3 I knew he wasn't good enough. I told you he was amazing, and look at him. He won a Super Bowl. I told you when he was a freshman in college he was going to be a MVP and a Super Bowl winner. Like, people are so obsessed with that, right? Of just locking in the conclusion. And I get it. I do to a degree, especially if you're going in the positive direction. But if you're going in the negative direction, I don't understand why you don't leave room to just kind of be a little bit more optimistic in that situation. And I don't think it's a false optimism, quite frankly. It's let's look at the situation. If he was in a significantly better situation and was failing in this, right, then we would say this is really concerning. It's why Anthony Richardson's lack of accuracy and just very poor quarterback play is so concerning, because he has Shane Steichen, who I think is an unbelievable offensive mind, as his head coach. So yes, that is alarming, right? Because a lot of people are like, he's only 22 years old. He was drafted at 21. What do you expect from him? And it's like, well, you know what? I get it. And he should also probably get a little grace, but also Shane Steichen is his coach. Shane Steichen is putting him constantly in a situation to succeed. So it's really on Anthony Richardson at that point. We can't put all this blame on Caleb, but there's obsession with doing so, and I just don't think it's fair. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Chicago Bears? Do you think there's still hope for this season? Do you think it's already time to sell the stock on Caleb? What do you think the Bears should do? There's a lot of this talk about Ben Johnson. I honestly don't think he'll be able to be the coach for the Chicago Bears. Not only will the Chicago Bears potentially not pay for him, but also I don't know if Ben Johnson would actually want to go to the Bears, considering at this point his relationship with the Lions. I don't know. I find that hard to believe, but who knows? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.